Do you want to know how to talk to your child about online predators? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about keeping our children safe from online predators. Online predators are real. The danger is real, but we can avoid the panic, especially if we know what to do. We pre-teach ourselves ahead of time. So this is the Teaching Self-Government channel. One of the key principles of self-government is preparing ahead of time for any type of situation that might be coming up in the future. When you have conversations with your children about online predators, then you are essentially preparing them to govern themselves when a circumstance happens in the future. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a story about my own life and how preparation helped me, and then we'll be talking about ways that you can prepare your children for some of those online grooming behaviors. When I was about 16 years old, I was out for a walk. I was clearly exercising, like out, in some of the neighborhoods near my neighborhood. And this guy pulled up in his car and asked me if I wanted a ride. I'd never seen the guy before. And he was like, "Hey, can I give you a ride somewhere or something?" And I was like, "No." And then I keep walking and he's like, "No, really, I can." And he was trying to give me a ride. And I looked at him, I said, "No, I am clearly exercising." So then he actually kept following me. So then I turned into a place that I wasn't planning on turning into. And I pretended to go to a house really close by, like it was mine. I just went up to the door and started to go into the house, and then he started to drive away really fast at that point. But he was gonna follow me. He was a predator, clearly he was. And I avoided danger that day, but I'll tell you what, I never knew that all those things that my mom taught me about strangers really being able to be predators of young people, especially when I was so strong and I was athletic and I thought, nobody's going to be able to take me or hurt me. And here was a person when I was in my prime fitness of life who was actually attempting to do that. And I got away. Now, I know that wasn't online, it was in person, but we have people who are online who are trying to do the same thing to our children. They're coming up to them saying, "Hey, will you help me with this online?" Or, "Hey, I could help you with that online. Oh, wow, I'm playing this online game with you and you're so good at that. Can you tell me how you do that? Because you're just so good." And suddenly they get into these brief little interactions, these brief relationships with our children, and they groom them to now have a predator experience. "Meet me here," or "Have you seen this?" And they introduce them to something else. "Send me a picture of this," right? There's lots of different ways that they could have a predator experience. "Give me your phone number so I can text you during the game." Those types of things. Or maybe just stalking a person's social media all the time, commenting on stuff, sending little messages and hearts about things so it seems like they're friendly and they love all their things, and then asking for more pictures just for them, more information. "I'll pay you for your pictures." Those types of things. That's what our children are facing in the world that they live in. I know that it's a little scary. It kind of freaks people out. And we have to help our children learn how to navigate it. Of course, I have a ton of videos on this channel already that are all about technology and children. And I am not the type that just turns my children loose on technology. I feel like if you don't teach them self-government before you allow them to use the technology, then that technology will control them. So either they control the technology or the technology controls them. I want to prepare my children to have the type of experience where they are controlling their online experience. And that means that I'm going to have to do some pre-teaching. So how do I prepare my children for that? So this channel is the Teaching Self-Government channel. It's all about pre-teaching. Here we prepare the children for the skills that they're going to need ahead of time. So one of the skills that I teach my children is I teach them how to accept no answers, which means they understand their boundary lines. But then when they get really good at self-government, not only do they just accept no answers from me, but they can accept them from other people, but they also can give themselves a no answer and accept it. That's the sign of a truly self-governed person. So there are 4 basic skills of self-government that I teach here on this channel for the children to learn first. And they are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. Ideally, a person learns how to do all those things themselves, for themselves, and not need to have a parent involved to do those things. So if the child decides there's certain boundary lines, such as texting an adult that is not my parent or not my grandparent, some of those immediate people in the family, they say, that's a no, that's a line I don't cross over, that's going to help keep them safe. So you might say, okay, I'm going to allow you to play this game, but you can't go online to play with other people. Or if you do go online to play the game, here's the rules. Nobody knows your real name. Nobody knows where you live. Nobody gets to know your phone number or your email. You never personal message anybody outside of just playing the game. You don't tell them anything in your neighborhood or things around you. You don't tell them what school you go to. You would have to set up all of those little boundaries of things if you're going to allow them to play that online game. And I would actually suggest that there's always somebody with them playing, like they know that's with the game. So it would be, I'm going to play the online game, so my brother's going to sit there with me too. Or they might play too, so that now everyone knows the other people, but we don't tell anybody we're brothers or that we're in the same room. So we just keep it like enough unknown that nobody can fully get to us. And they would have to know that, and you have to explain why. Listen, there's a reason why. Children get hurt all the time because they meet people on these weird games, and the people start telling them things that they shouldn't. They start trying to meet up with them. They start praising them like how great they are all the time. And if somebody tells you how great you are all the time, what do you think you should say? I don't know. Thanks. Yeah, say, thank you, but I would appreciate you not praising me so much. That's not appropriate. Just tell them what's appropriate and what's not. And if you say thank you, but don't praise me so much because that's not appropriate, I bet you the next time they're not going to play the game with you. I bet you suddenly they're somewhere else. Because if they're praising you a lot for the wrong reasons, then, they're not going to have an interest anymore. So you teach them what some of those tactics are that they might use, and you pre-teach them for what the no answers are and how to give themselves the no answers and accept them. Another one of the skills that you're going to be teaching to have a good communication with your child anyway is the skill disagreeing appropriately. So how does that skill help in these circumstances? Well, just like the situation with thank you, but that's a disagree appropriately, right? Well, thank you for saying that. I think I did do pretty good there. However, it's not appropriate for you to be praising me for those things. And so I'm just going to put a boundary there and say that that's not okay. And so you would teach them how to do that. Now, obviously, when it comes to interactions with parents and people in the family, they don't get to have complete control like that. But when they're online, they need to have a certain amount of control so that they can keep themselves safe. This works for social media as well as gaming, all those other areas where you might interact with people in an online experience. There are so many other skills of self-government that I would love to teach you, but I think there's a class that's better at that than this one. There's a full-length class on this channel called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. I recommend that you go to that video next.